What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight... Okay, we're coming back to Anthrax. Yes, indeed. Anthrax Fans Feeling You. Come on now. Here we go. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to do all the clicks and the likes and the bibbity bob, do me a favor. Before you do all those things, please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, if you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from Chad Bassett, and it was also the winner of the Patreon request prioritization poll, winning with 39% of the vote. Boy, this was close from all three choices. It was really close. But yeah, they got the win with 39% of the vote. It was number 394 in the queue. It went straight up to number 1. So yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, your voice, your vote does matter. They all want to see me react to this song by Anthrax called In the End. Now, have I heard the song before? No, I have not. To the best of my knowledge, this does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always a possibility I may have heard the song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, wait a second, I recognize this, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Anthrax is, if I'm gonna be honest with you guys, Anthrax has never been a band I've actually really followed. There were a couple of albums that I did get from them. I got the I'm the Man EP. I got that because I just thought the song was hysterical. So I bought that one. And then the other one I bought was State of Euphoria. I bought that album. I liked, there were a couple songs in there I really dug, and I heard them on Headbangers Ball, and I was like, this sounds like an album I want to get. And those songs were good, but the rest of the album I was kind of like, not really a band I really want to follow. So if you look at the big four, the big thrash four, right? You got Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer. I was a Metallica fan. I was a big Metallica fan, and I was also a pretty big Megadeth fan too. Anthrax, out of those four, was probably my least favorite. Slayer, I heard a couple of songs from them, never really got into them either. So I mean, I'm just not really all that familiar with Slayer's body of work. And Anthrax, I'm even less familiar. So like I said, I bought 2 albums, and one of them was an EP, and I bought it. Let's be honest here, that entire EP was kind of a joke. So. It was admittedly by Anthrax. It was a joke, you know. It was supposed to be funny, but it ended up one of those things that ended up, you know, being meant as a joke, and it ended up becoming very popular. So, you know, I ended up buying the EP. And I dug it. I dug the song. Couple of really neat things on there too. There was that cover that they did of, I think it was Sabbath, Blaze Sabbath. I thought that was a really good cover that they did. Anyway, but as far as this song goes, no, this song does not sound familiar at all. So just want to give you guys a little context for those of you that might be going, how can this guy not be an Anthrax fan? He must have heard this. No, I haven't. Like I said, I bought 2 albums, and one of them was an EP. So I never really followed them. Like I said, out of the big 4, they're probably my least favorite band out of the big 4. This was posted by Anthrax, okay? And the video has 2.5 million views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Anthrax, In the End official. Is that official video?
Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it!
It doesn't say what it is, it just says official. It could be official audio, official video, official lyric video, I don't know. Well, we'll just hope this doesn't get blocked. We'll see. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
JD. That's a mini Paul. Dang. No, it's Dimebag. Okay. Doesn't sound like anything I've heard from Anthrax in the past. This sounds totally different. Okay, for starters, much slower tempo. We're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Much slower tempo. On top of that, you got that, it's not even triplet, it's sextuplet subdivision. Nice. And it's tight. It sounds good. Ooh, it feels good, man. It really does. And then you have the vocal harmonies in there. Transitioning from minor to major, back to minor again. And then other times, minor to major, and then they stay on the major, but it's an inversion of the major. Ooh. What album is this from? I'm assuming this is from a later album. Like, I don't know how many albums they've put out. But this is not 80s or 90s, or I don't even think this is even 2000s. This is probably like, or maybe it's late 2000. Maybe it's like 2008 or something like that. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, it's not 80s or 90s Anthrax. I'll tell you that right now. This is much later. I'm digging this. I am absolutely digging this. Let's see where this goes, man.
Can't
triplet subdivision. Ba 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 ba. Yeah. Didn't see it coming, but it was welcome. It was definitely welcome. The groove on this song, man. Oh God, I am feeling this song. And if you're not feeling it, you're on the wrong damn channel. Plain and simple. This has got such a strong groove. It really does, man. It feels so good across the board. Man alive. I may have to give them another chance. I may have to. Like I said, this doesn't sound early to me. This sounds later in their career. So I may have to dive into some of their later material, you know, some of their more recent material and see what they're doing. Because if it's like this, yeah, I'm going to have to reconsider my stance on them for sure. Do we have a tempo change? I think we have a tempo change. Yeah, now it's not sexed up, but this is a triplet subdivision now. 6/8 feel.
Did I thank you for our time together? Did I thank you for making me better? Did I thank you for being the one I would beat and kill for? Did I thank you for tearing my head off, ripping my heart out, fucking my world? Did we tell you how much we loved you? Did we tell you you made our dreams come true? Did we tell you that you were the one paving our way? The damage is done. Did we thank you for tearing our heads off, ripping our hearts out, fucking our
Back to the original tempo. Going back to the original tempo now. Great usage of tempo switch. It wasn't feel. They straight up changed the speed of the song. They increased the speed, and now they're going back to the original speed. Really nicely done. When they did increase the tempo, I like how they had that play of the 3 against the 4. So you could have interpreted either way. It could have been 6/8 or it could have been 4/4. Take your pick. You know, either way would have fit. You know, they could have had, you know, 4/4 time with that, you know, triplet subdivision, not sextuplet subdivision, but just a triplet subdivision within the 4/4, or it could have been 6/8. Just a straight 6/8. It could have been either way. It fit. They both fit. I love it when bands are able to take that 3 against the 4 and make it work. It sounds so good. Soilwork is notorious for doing that, and it's one of the reasons why Soilwork is one of my favorite bands. I mean, I love how they do that. They did a really good job in that middle section right there. They go back to the original tempo. Let's see where they go from here.
I can't break it down. I'm pounding on the door.
and the added crowd noise. Eh. I mean, we all know that was not live. We all know that was what we heard was not live. That was all studio, clearly. I don't know why they bothered to add the crowd noise at the end. That doesn't make any sense, but whatever. It's fine. It's, music videos are what music videos are. So, yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely enjoyed this. Now, how much I enjoyed it, that's the question. That's the question. It's how much I enjoyed it. Let me think about this. I'll see you in the review and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Anthrax with In the End. This was a request from Chad Bassett, and it was also the winner of the Patreon request prioritization poll, winning with 39% of the vote. It doesn't get much closer than that, folks. It was close, but yeah, they got the win, and it was number 394. But because they won the poll, it went straight up to number 1. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, your voice, your vote does matter. Okay, I thought about it, and I have a score here, and it's up there. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give that an 8.4. Yep, 8.4. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
As I said before, when it comes to the big four, Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer, out of those 4 bands, I could honestly say Anthrax is probably or it still is, by my least favorite out of the 4. I have been a big fan of Metallica for a long time. Loved their early work. I'm starting, thanks to this channel, I'm starting to get into some of their later work now. I haven't bought any of the albums. I've intentionally laid off on buying any because there are other reactions in the queue. I don't want to ruin any potential reactions. Now, but once they're done, I'm gonna go buy those albums, Hardwired and Death Magnetic. I'm gonna go buy both of them because I've enjoyed everything I've heard from both of those albums. But the early work from Metallica, but when the Cliff Burton Metallica, I love those 3 albums, man. All 3 of them. Megadeth, I'm also a really big fan of, especially again of their early work. Peace Sells, I think, is one of the best albums they ever wrote. So Far So Good So What, it had its moments, but I wasn't the biggest fan of that album. And then after that, oh God. Oh man, Rust in Peace, I think, was probably the best album they ever wrote. I mean, that album front to back was fantastic. Gosh, after that, they had some other good albums after that too. Euthanasia I liked. I know a lot of purists of Megadeth thought that album was trash, but I'm sorry, I like that album. Slayer, I'm not a big fan of. I've heard a couple of songs by them, and what I heard I liked, but I haven't heard a whole lot from them. And then Anthrax, I've honestly heard even less. Like I said, I bought the EP because I just thought the song was funny, and I had a good time listening to it for the On the Man EP. I thought the song was hilarious. And then I bought the album State of Euphoria for a couple of songs, and those couple of songs I liked, but the rest of the album I was kind of like, kind of indifferent to. So I didn't really listen to anything else from them, in all honesty. But maybe I need to, because this song impressed me. This song was great. I thoroughly enjoyed this song. Just the drive and the feel on the song, that slower tempo. Very nice. Not at all what I was expecting. When I saw I was doing Anthrax, I was expecting, something around here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I was expecting about that. Instead, I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Literally halftime of what I was expecting. So, that was a great shock, a great surprise, hearing something slower from them, but still with a fantastic groove and a great amount of drive and energy. Even being in a slower tempo, it still had that drive and that energy that I look for, and they had it. They had it in spades. The Subdivision work. those sextuplet subdivisions. I mean, good Lord. Great subdivision work and clean, super clean, nothing dirty in there at all. It felt good. This feels like a mature Anthrax. It really does. I mean, I've heard Anthrax be tight in the past, but even at their tightest, there was always a little bit of like bleed over. You know what I mean? Even in their studio work, like you listen to the album State of Euphoria, right? And or On the Mend, take either one of them. And I'm not talking about the live stuff, I'm talking about the studio work. It wasn't as tight and as clean as this was. You know what I mean? This was tight. This was clean. You could tell this is a band who has been doing this for a long time, and they really understand the concept of playing tight and clean, and we got that here. We absolutely did. The guitar work was fantastic. The drumming in this, outstanding. Loved it. Bass playing up, if I'm being honest with you, couldn't really hear the bass too well. It was a good blend. It was mixed well, but I couldn't really hear the bass standing out at all. I mean, you could hear it, but you had to really search for it. It was really kind of pushed to the back. That's typical. I mean, that's usually what happens to us bass players. We get no respect, and we're always pushed to the back of the line. Vocally, I think is probably one of the biggest selling points on this song for me. The harmonies on this were fantastic. Those okay, starting with the minor, going up to the major, but resolving back to the minor again instead of staying on the major. That was smart. I liked that. I'm not usually a big fan of that. I usually like major resolutions, but I think the reason it worked is because at least they went up to the major. Yeah, they resolved to the minor, but I think that was part of the appeal. I think it was because I don't usually hear that. I usually hear, when you hear a major, the major is the resolution. So it was different. It was different to hear, and I enjoyed it. I dug it. I absolutely dug it. What was I gonna say? But hearing those harmonies was like, I don't know who was doing the harmonies. Now, like I said, this was not live, obviously. What we heard was studio, superimposed onto live footage and backstage footage and, you know, photo shots and stuff like that. So this was not a live performance, but, you know, it still sounded fantastic. I wonder if they, number one, do they play this live? Number two, if they do play it live, who does the harmonies? I have no idea. But regardless, what I heard here was outstanding. I loved those harmonies, man. They were a big, big selling point. Now listen, this is, in my opinion, a great song. I am gonna have to dive into this more. Could somebody cue me in as to what album this song was on so I could check out more of that album? And now, once I do that, I'll expand outward. I'll go forward and backward and see, you know, where the threshold is, you know, how far out they go in this type of sound. I mean, they may go all the way back to the 2000s or maybe even late 90s. I mean, like I said, I bought those two albums and they were both from the 80s. So 90s, I really got into jazz and prog rock, so I stopped listening to pretty much all metal and thrash in general. So, I mean, there's that. And then in 2000s, you know, I was really focusing on my own music more than anything else. So, yeah, I'd be interested to see where this comes from and how far it goes, you know. So I may have to dig into these guys some more, give them another chance. So yeah, 8.4, I feel good with that score, and that is where we're gonna stay. So 8.4, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's gonna do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hopefully I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, then I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for the night, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.